Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. What am I riding today? This is the Midstep U-Free Stellar Falcon. Yeah, the red bike. Yeah, I'll pull over and show you the bike in a minute here. Yeah, I've come to realize that a lot of you guys never get to see what I look like. Yeah, I'm usually just riding the bike. You never see me. Yeah, maybe we need to show you me every now and then just so you remember who I am. Well, if you watch the More from Russ channel, you would see me every single time. Because that one, the camera's always on me. But on these bike rides, yeah, you never get to see me, do you? Well, let's pull up ahead here. And I'll pull off, let you see me and see the bike. How's that? Let's go over here. Yeah, we'll just pull off over here. How's that? Okay. Put the kickstand down and go to bike so I can get off of it. It is a Midstep bike. Let's see. Okay, here. Here I am. All right, here. Now you can know what I really look like. There you go. Let's take a look at the bike here. So what do we do to the bike here? Well, it is a stock Stellar Falcon, but we did add the front basket, the liner, the stem bag. Got my cell phone sitting in there. I added the water bottle cage and the water bottle. Stellar Falcon does come with the Suntour NCX suspension seat post. That is standard with it. There you go. Stellar Falcon looks really nice. The Midstep, I think, looks really nice. And the color of red looks super nice. All right, let me remount you back on my chest mount here. Here we go. Let's get back on the bike. So can I step through this thing? Yeah, I could. It's a little bit tougher. It's considered a Midstep model. Let's angle this camera a little bit here. Hopefully that'd be enough. See a little bit of the handlebars maybe and forward. Let's get off of this path. So, yeah, it's a nicer look to the bike than a straight step through, in my opinion. Midstep models always look really nice, but that top tube is still high enough that you kind of have to either really lift your leg way up there, or you have to angle the bike like I do and then swing your leg over. So it's a little bit of a hassle in that sense. Do you really need a mid-step compared to a step-through? I don't think so, really. I really don't. I think they make these step-through bikes now so solid that even though it's maybe a little bit of frame flex, would the average person notice it? I would say no. I don't think so. I don't notice it. Tell me if you notice frame flex on your mid-step bikes, or your step-through bikes, I should say. So why do they make stuff like Midstep bikes? Well, there's people who specifically want a more rigid frame, and obviously with the extra bar there is also the additional rigidity, right? And others just like the look of it. Some guys are used to having that top bar, and it's low enough that, you know, when you hop off the bike, you know, if you stopped at a stop sign or something and you have hopped off the bike, you don't hit areas that you don't want to hit. Okay, for guys at least. So there's that benefit. But no, I like this particular look on this particular bike. Yeah, I like the color too. I really like this red color. It really pops. All of the U-Free bikes, I think it's a tongue twister, are made very well. You don't see any of the welding joints. You know, everything's nice and smooth. The paint jobs are really good on it. Everything is just, the fit and finish is just, everything is just top notch. And then even the cable management, stuff in the front here, it goes right into the bike. You don't see anything hanging out. This is all you see is just these things that you see in the front here. This little bit of tubing. That's it. I'm looking up ahead. I hear some helicopter flying overhead. I don't know what. I mean, they're a little bit of distance from me, but I can recognize a helicopter. I just tell you guys I used to be in helicopters. Yeah, when I worked for the San Diego District Attorney's Office, I had the opportunity a couple times to go up on the helicopter to do some aerial photography. There was a woman in our technical services division who loved doing the helicopters. We always let her do it, but I had to at least get up there a couple times myself, right? So she goes, no, go ahead, go ahead and do it. So we would take a medium format camera. Back in the day, I think we were using the Mamiya, which model camera was that? It was a twin lens reflex camera. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Can't remember the model number anymore. We would use that, and then we also had a, I think it's a Mamiya 645 camera. So it was a medium format camera, but shot in rectangular format, of course. So resolution of the shots were really good because you got a larger negative. But the thing with the helicopter's still hanging around. They must be looking for somebody. But anyway, it's the law enforcement in me. But anyways, yeah, you'd have to hang out of the helicopter. They take the door off of the thing. We were in a Bell helicopter. You know what it looks like? Think about the old style helicopters. The Bell helicopters are kind of like the think about the Batman movie. Do you remember the Batman movie where Batman had a helicopter and he was fighting off the shark? Remember that one? That's a Bell helicopter. It's got a big bubble for the helicopters, not like elongated. We had those too. We called them the Jet because they were so powerful. But the Bell helicopter was my favorite because it's just one big bell in front of you, a big bubble. You see everything, even below you. Your feet are hanging. You see everything. Yeah, it was my favorite. And we would take the doors off of those things, and you'd have to literally hang off of the helicopter to take the shot. Now, you don't do that when the helicopter's moving. It's when they're hovering. If it's moving, they'll rip your arm right off because of the wind resistance, right? So let's turn over here. So we'd hang over the edge of the helicopter, aim the camera straight down to do a perfectly level shot, and then take your shot. And the problem with the helicopter things is that you have to know where you're going. So you tell the helicopter pilot, I'm going to this place in this location. He might remember where that is because he has to know the streets well enough so that he can recognize it from above. But you got to know the area well enough so that you know what intersection, what street you're actually trying to take a photo of. So I remember the first time I went out there with them, I couldn't remember what it looked like, and especially I don't know what it looks like from up above. So I says, I don't know which building I'm supposed to shoot. I don't know where the intersection is. So we had to hover a couple times. I took a bunch of shots, and then hopefully one of them would be it, and of course it was. But yeah, I learned my lesson there. You better really know that area. So you're looking for landmarks, of course, that you can recognize, especially from up above. I never thought about the up above business. You might recognize it from down below, but up above, all you see is roofs, right? You don't really see anything. So you're looking for like gas stations or anything that you can you can recognize. Anyway, back to riding the bike here. Oh, I also added a side view mirror, as you can see. I always add a side view mirror to all my bikes. I want to be able to see who's behind me. Now, some people have said, how come you don't use the bar end mirrors? I do on the bikes that have handlebars that are curved back. These are pretty straight across, right? When they curve back, like the Solar Sparrow from Ufrey, I use the bar end mirrors. It's really the only one you can use that make it work well for you. Let's turn here. But for many of the others, I tend to prefer to just put it on the handlebar itself. So people have said, well, do you see your shoulder? Yeah, you do. Yeah, I see my arm and my shoulder in the mirror. Yeah, just lean over a little bit, you can see, you know. But some people prefer to just kind of look there and see a clear view. It's pretty clear. All I see right now, as I'm just turning my head, is just a slight edge of an arm right over here. Other than that, I see everything in the back. So every bike is a little different depending on how much space you have. You know, you try to get this as close to the handlebar grip as you can, but sometimes things are in the way, right? So what I did is I moved the display screen this way a little bit more, so that I have a little more real estate to put the mirror there. You know, as I was watching some of my old videos too, I noticed that my right hand is usually, the thumb is never wrapped around here. Have you noticed that? The reason is because I leave it up here all the time is because my trigger shifters are here. So I can actually access that quicker. So then we got the bell over here too. So I just kind of leave it up here. I don't wrap my hands around it. I just kind of lean on the handlebar. My left hand usually is wrapped around, but of course in this case my thumb throttle is here too. So I don't actually put my thumb here to the throttle, if you've ever noticed. I put my whole arm or my whole hand over it and I just push it down. And that's how I usually use my thumb throttle. Let me check my messages here real quick here. Yeah, man. Okay. Let's turn here. I've been using my smartwatch lately to read messages because, you know, the phone is inside the bag. Rather than pull the phone out, I just look at the smartwatch because it gives me the notifications from my phone and any other notifications that come in. Like if you guys make comments on YouTube, it'll tell me that, you know, so I can see things instantly. I can't respond with the watch, you know, but I could at least read the message. If I have to respond, I got to use the phone to type messages out. I don't know of any other smartwatches you can actually respond from the smartwatch. Maybe you can. I don't know. I would tend to think that'd be really hard. The screen is so small. How do you click the little letters on there? That would be kind of tough. I don't know. So we're out early in the morning. What time is it now? It's 7:43 in the morning. It's an overcast day. I figured this is the time I got to get out to ride my bike. It's about 75 degrees out right now, so really it's pretty ideal for bike riding. Overcast day, mid 70s. Yeah, you can't beat it. Well, okay, you can beat it. 72, 73 would be better. But close, you know, close enough. And we've had very hot days recently. So, oh, ran out of road here. Gonna have to turn. We will turn. Uh-oh. Well, I didn't want to go on this road. All right, we'll pass this road. Oh, it says no outlet. All right, we're going this way. This is the side road of the road. Yeah, if you went over on the other side, that's like 45 miles an hour. Yeah, let's talk about that. You know, they were saying that more regulations are coming down on us now in this general area. Fox Lake, Illinois, came down with some regulations on e-bikes and e-scooters. Yeah, they don't want e-bikes on the sidewalks if it goes more than 10 miles per hour. Well, hey, even a regular bike can go over 10 miles an hour. So essentially nothing on the sidewalk is what they're saying. And if you're on the street, you can't go on any street that's faster than 35 miles per hour. Okay, I can see that one. Because I didn't want to go on that other street up there. It'd be too fast. I don't want to be on that street. So, yeah, Oh, we ran out of road. How do you like that? We're gonna have to go up on the top. All right, let's stop here. So we've got the fire department, paramedics or something going across there. Ooh, that was loud. Yeah, we ran out of road here, so we're gonna have to come up this curb. And then we'll just go down the same road that the ambulance or whatever that is. That wasn't an ambulance. It's a fire truck thing. Go down this way. I've never come down this way before, so. What were we talking about? See, these things just take my attention away. So, okay, you can't be on roads faster than 35 miles an hour with your e-bike. Okay, I understand that. But I think the big thing that they had, there might be some other things that they mentioned, but the big thing was to ride an e-bike, you have to have a driver's license and you have to be insured. So the vehicle has to be insured, it said. Now, I don't understand that. Maybe they're talking about liability, but when you say the vehicle needs to be insured, are they saying you got to insure your bike somehow? What are they talking about? You tell me what your interpretation is, but that's how they basically word it. They just say the rider must have a driver's license and the vehicle must be insured. That's how it's worded. Which vehicle are they talking about? I'm pretty sure they're talking about the bike. What, insured for liability? What are you insuring for? And are there insurance companies that insure the bike? I don't know. So that's Fox Lake, Illinois. I don't know how they're going to enforce all this type of stuff. This just seems a little much. So I'm okay with the must have a driver's license thing, because you have to have something that was like the rules of the road, right? You can't get a driver's license without knowing the rules of the road, because you got to take a test. I've said all along that that's really how e-biking should be, in my opinion. That anyone riding an e-bike should know the general rules of the road. And a driver's test would do that. It would teach you, what all the street signs mean and how you're supposed to act when you're on the road. So yeah. So anyway, it seems more and more cities in this area are cracking down on e-bikes and e-scooters. I already said in my area, e-scooters are banned. In fact, one of the e-scooter companies contacted me asking if I would do a review of their scooter, and I said, first off, I probably wouldn't have done it anyways, because I don't ride e-scooters much. I've done 2 reviews for e-scooters before, but I told them, they've banned it in my area. I can't even ride it in my area. So they said, okay, thanks for letting us know. But crackdowns are happening. Yeah, let me know in your area what type of laws are happening in your area. Yeah, I'm very curious to find out what they're doing. I mean, even in New York, we've already heard that in New York they put like 15-mile-an-hour limits. I'm okay with limits if that's what it takes to keep our e-bikes rolling instead of banning us altogether. But 15 miles is kind of low. I think at least let them ride it at the the legal limit of 20 miles per hour on a class 1, class 2. Let them ride it. I mean, 5 miles an hour is not going to be that big of a deal, I don't think. But I mean, to try to stay under 15 is tough. But if your bike limits you to 20 because it's a class 1 and a class 2 bike, then you could say I can max out and I know I'm always under the 20 miles per hour. And how are they going to enforce this stuff? I mean, are cops going to be, I guess they're going to be radaring the e-bikes. I mean, really, others have said, cops have bigger fish to catch. That's true. They're catching bike riders, they'd rather catch cars, Okay, what about stop signs? Yeah, well, okay, that's not technically a stop. It's kind of a rolling stop, right? But I think that's sufficient. I mean, if I had to actually do a standard 3-second stop, I'd actually have to hop off the bike. That's just too much. That's easy for a car. You're still sitting in the car. For a bike, I've got to get off the bike and then get back on it again. It's too much. So, going forward, I'm going to be blasting through stop signs. Yeah, I still might. But I do usually slow down and look. I don't just go straight through. I may have to slow down a little bit more than I have been in the past, just to make it easier for others who watch. Some people have a hard time watching me because they see me going through the stop signs. Well, I'm going to continue going through the stop signs, but I'll slow down. Let's see, we got a stop sign coming up here. Let me show you what I'll probably end up doing. So where are we going? We're about 20 miles an hour right now. So coming up to a stop sign. Here's what I'll probably do if I can remember going forward, okay? So I'm gonna basically do this. I'm gonna slow down, kind of like that, and go. That's the best I can do. In fact, that's better than I have been doing in the past. So I think I need to make a conscious effort on behalf of everybody to kind of slow down a little bit more. But as I've mentioned before in the past, and we've talked about this whole stopping issue for so long that I'm kind of tired of talking about it. I'm sure you're tired about hearing about it. Is that talking to my local police officers, at least one of them, he says, no, I wouldn't ticket you. He says, I know you're safe and that you slow down, you look, and if there's nobody, you go. But he was a motorcycle cop. He understands it. He says, I can't guarantee the rest of the guys would feel the same. It's true. You know, he doesn't know what everybody, it's all police discretion. You know, you've got good cops, you got bad cops, right? All right, that's a slowdown, but it's not a stop, technically. But you hear it in the motor that, you know, I'm speeding back up again. So you know I've slowed down. Yeah, it's going to be tough times for e-bikes. Yeah. By the way, somebody was asking about the tariffs. I recently did a review of another bike, and they said, you know, it's surprising to see that the tariffs aren't affecting. Yeah, they're affecting. Just hasn't hit us yet. It's just a matter of time. I can give you an example. The Solar Sparrow, which is from U-Free, the other model from them. This one's a Stellar Falcon, but the Solar Sparrow was on an introductory price. When I first introduced the bike, they had it, I don't know what the price was, $18.99, something like that. Yeah, it's going to go up about $100, I think, something like that. It's going up. I mean, even when they first introduced the bike, they said, okay, this is an introductory price because they know that the shipments coming in are going to cost them more. So they had to raise the price even as they were introducing the bike. They only gave a discount as the first few people who placed orders for them. But now new ones are going to cost more. Yeah. I mean, nobody likes that. They don't like it, but they're hit with paying all that in advance. I mean, it's talking to the owner of U-Free. He says, no, it says, I had a huge bill come in. It says, I can't absorb all that. I know. So who's going to pay for that is you and me, right? As consumers, we're going to have to pay for it. So, yeah, the tariffs are going to affect us. Yeah. It's just been delayed, essentially. We'll see what happens. I don't know how other companies will deal with it, but they got hit with the tariffs. You know, U-Free is a U.S. company. They're based in Texas. Yeah, the owner is here in Texas. I mean, yeah, sure, the bikes aren't manufactured here. Obviously, nobody's bike is really manufactured here, if you think about it. But as a company, they are an American company. Yeah, so it's going to affect them. What are you going to do, right? All right. We're just riding around in circles here. I knew I wasn't going to go too far because, you know, it's overcast. It could rain on me. I don't want to be too far out and it rains. I just wanted to get the bike out. That's the thing. You know, this whole year has been really strange. I haven't gone too many far places. I mean, we did the Botanic Garden, but I drove my car there to Morton Grove, and then we rode the bike, you know, with Stuart from eBike Ski Bum, yeah. And then I took the Expedition 2.0 out on a long ride once, but that's about all I've done for long rides. All of the bike rides this year has been locally because it's been so hot and rain, and it's been weird. Yeah, I would say this year has been very strange for me for e-biking, and I'm not getting any younger, so you know, you gotta get out as often as you can while you're still able to do it. The other day I had lunch with two of my pastor friends, one which I had just met, but I knew of him because I saw him at the funeral of another pastor, and he gave a eulogy. And yeah, we were talking about, you know, what I've been doing for, you know, because I hadn't seen my other pastor friend in many years. And I told him, yeah, I got my knee replaced, and then I started the YouTube channels, and I ride my e-bike, I review e-bikes now. And he goes, wow, he says, a lot of stuff has happened for you. I said, yeah, I closed my photography school because I said, no one's coming in for photography classes when pandemic was happening. So I closed that up and basically retired, but I said, this has now basically been my retirement income from YouTube, and you know, when people order bikes and they use the affiliate link, I get a slight commission for that. So really, I says it's been a blessing having this YouTube channel for me as I'm retired now. But I told him, you know, obviously I don't make money like a regular job would be making money. He goes, yeah, well, but still, you know, having some income coming in to help out is a good thing, right? And as long as I can keep doing it, I'll keep doing it. But as we get older, we're able to do less and less because it's tougher sometimes. E-biking, not that hard really if you think about it, as long as you can keep your legs moving. I mean, if you didn't even want to do that, you could just sit here and throttle the whole time. Hey Russ, isn't that what you do? Sometimes. Sometimes I'm throttling all the time. Other times I'm pedaling now, you know. I don't do hard pedaling because it's kind of hard for me to do that, but you know, just to keep my legs moving. A lot of times I will pedal on the way back. I've mentioned this many times. A lot of times I'm throttling when I'm talking on camera, but I'll try to pedal my bikes back as I head home. Unless I'm really tired, you know. I got to get a little bit of exercise in there. Something's better than nothing, right? And just even getting outside makes a difference. Because I kind of know that as we get older, we need certain types of vitamins. So the doctor's office had mentioned that, you know, you need to take this D3 vitamin supplement, get more D3 in you. But you know, if you're outside a lot, you get a lot of vitamin D just from being out in the sun. So it got to the point where my D3 or my vitamin D count was so high because I was outside so much and I was taking D3 supplements as well. He says, yeah, you got way up there. I says, well, yeah, I'm outside a lot. So you have to kind of look at what you're doing. If you're inside all the time, you got to take these supplements. So the last doctor's appointment I did was a physical. I noticed that my vitamin D levels were low because I hadn't been taking the vitamin D and the D3 supplement, and we haven't been going out that much because of the weather. So I started taking the D3 supplements again just to get some vitamin D in me, simply because we haven't been able to go outside that often. So yeah, there you go. You gotta keep an eye on things. Oh, by the way, in case you're curious, the last time I was at the doctor's office, they mentioned that they can hear a heart murmur. Yeah, I've had a heart murmur my whole life. So the doctor said, hey, has anybody ever mentioned it? I go, yeah, every single doctor mentions it. Anyone who listens to your heart, they hear it. He says, well, have you ever had an ECG done or an EKG? I said, yeah. So I guess he looked it up on the record. He says, I have no record of it. Well, I probably had it done in San Diego when I was out there. You know, he says, maybe we better get another one done, just to be safe. I go, oh yeah, okay, whatever, you know. So we got another one done, and yeah, it came out good. Yeah, everything showed normal. Yep, everything showed normal. Nothing was really bad. I mean, I was looking at the machine as the technician was doing it. And by the way, my chest still hurts. Yeah, it's basically like an ultrasound. They push this probe into you, like, right? They put some gel on it and they push it around, and it's showing you the heart beating and all that stuff. But she says, yeah, I can see a slight calcification right here, right by the valve. She says, that's probably what's causing the heart murmur. And I said, does it look bad? She goes, no, not really. She says, everything looks like it's functioning well. But she says, but that's probably what's causing it. And she told me that, she says, everybody who always comes in for one of these tests always asks her, well, what can I do to improve it? And she said, the answer is nothing. You can't do anything. There's nothing you can do about it. So I says, well, was this basically something that I had from birth? She goes, more than likely. Yeah, more than likely. And she says, and there's nothing you can do to improve on it. So, I mean, really, what are you going to do, right? It's just it's the way you are. So, but yeah, I've had it forever. So she says, yeah, I don't think you have anything really to worry about. But she says, usually the doctors will tell you to come in once every X amount of years to have it done again, just to check it. But man, that thing's expensive. I got a invoice that was, I think it was like $2,400. If you don't have insurance, that's pretty expensive. In my case, the insurance covers it 100%, so I don't pay for any of it. I didn't even have a copay. You just go in and get the test done, that's it. But yeah, I feel bruised because, you know, she's pushing this probe against your chest and everything, and she even did one near my throat. She has to take a shot, an image shot straight down, so she's got to come up near the throat to do it. I go, man. So I kind of hurt a little bit from that, but it checked out good. So no fears of the heart murmur thing. But you know, like I said, I probably had it all my life. It's not affecting me. And the doctor came back with I saw the report first, and then the doctor came back and says everything checks out. You don't have anything to worry about. Just, you know, we'll keep an eye on it eventually. But he says everything's fine. And even if you read the report yourself, you can see it says, you know, it's negative for this and negative for that. There's nothing that's really holding me back. All right, I think that's about all I have for you guys for today. I appreciate you guys coming out with me on this easy bike ride on the Stellar Falcon from Ufree. Thanks to Ufree too for supplying these bikes to me, and all the other manufacturers as well for giving me bikes to be able to ride. I was telling my my pastor friends that, you know, I didn't anticipate that this is where my life would be heading. That all we would be doing is riding bikes. So yeah, I have fun doing what I do. I enjoy making the YouTube videos for you guys. I started the More from Russ channel so I can talk about more things besides e-bikes. So yeah, life is good. I'll talk to you guys next time.